named Bill O'Reilly. And let me tell you a little bit about Bill O'Reilly, okay? Bill O'Reilly is this conservative, old, white guy who is kind of not very nice to minorities and people, or so I kind of gathered. Bill, if you're watching this, perhaps I have a wrong impression of you. But we couldn't be further from the two types of people. So, yeah, so it's me versus Bill O'Reilly for the #1 spot, the #1 book in the country this week. It's his book, which is like a conspiracy theory book. He's problematic in a couple different ways. And so it's his book versus my book. And the list for what we're up, against each other on is only for physical copies of the book, whether it's you getting the book at like Barnes & Noble or Target or, Schuler's Books or W.H. Smith or Waterstones or wherever you can get a physical copy of the book. This chunk of words. If you get a copy today or tomorrow's the last day you can get a copy where it will impact the list that me and him are up against each other on. Then it'll go toward, hopefully, me maybe, possibly, beating him for the #1 spot. I think it would be, here's the thing, I think it would be really cool to have a out gay internet person beat old, problematic guy who's been a New York Times bestseller like 6 or 7 times. That would be pretty cool. If you want to help with that, you can, the easiest way, and I think the cheapest way, is if you go on Amazon and order a copy. Amazon has, I think it's like almost 50% off. But if you go to Amazon and order a copy, that counts as a sale for this week for the New York Times bestseller list. And you guys know, I mean, if you live in America, you probably know about New York Times bestseller list, but, somebody says your book is better. I don't know if you've read both. Read both if you want to make an opinion on whose is better. I can't say if his is worse or better or whatever. I can't say if it's bad. But I do know that I have a different type of book. His is like a conspiracy theory book about like a murder. I don't get it. I'm kidding. Bill, I'm sure your book is great. So yeah, Out of Jordan says, I accidentally bought 4 copies. Well, that helps. Thank you. Yeah, so like I said, it would be really cool if you helped. If you order anytime between today and tomorrow night, that helps us with the list. So if you want to help with that, it's really neck and neck. My publisher was letting me know. He was like, the projections are in. It's anybody's win. It could be anybody between you and Bill. And thankfully, I'm not up against Zoe or PewDiePie or Dan and Phil. Here, for 1 second. I have somebody knocking on the door. Hold on. Hi. It looks a little small. You got it. I'm live right now, so don't say anything. Hello? I'm back. I ordered pizza. Because I asked them, should I get a small or a large? And they said, well, a small has 6 pieces. I said, oh, small seems plenty. Come hang out.
Not getting on the camera.
You don't want to say hi to the people?
Are you going to come to follow me on Twitter?
You guys, if you want to... Okay. Corey's here.
Follow me on Twitter and Instagram.
And do what?
And follow me on Twitter.
Okay,
Follow me on Twitter and then tweet me what you think of the book. I've been looking at the spoiler hashtags because I read the book.
what's the spoiler hashtag? Binge spoilers.
It's like no. What's the number system one?
It's binge spoilers.
And then the number?
And then in the tweet you include a number. I think.
That's not the one I did.
Okay, well, bring that pizza over. Are you eating it here?
All you're getting.
Tootsie Rolls. They gave these Tootsie Rolls smell like pizza. I also got breadsticks and pizza sauce. Gorge, killing me.
What? I'm just taking my 6 slices.
And leaving?
I watched. There's 7 pieces there.
Just take.
There's.
If you want some, make some. Oh my god, yum. Alert. Yeah. Make sure that.
Why? It's a chain, there's 3.
There's like 10.
I don't see any pizza sauce.
Sorry, you guys, I will talk to you guys in a second. Hold on. They didn't bring pizza sauce.
No.
Oh my god.
Your dry ass breadstick.
That's pretty good. Pretty dry.
Oh, pizza sauce.
Take some of this. Perfect. Fuck it.
I was getting it off the bed.
Take some of this. Okay, bye. You guys. Craig Cake says, do you even read these? What's the point of typing? Yeah, I'm reading them. So let's talk. The book, I already know about it. If you want to pick up a copy, tomorrow would be the day to do it. Or if you ordered it tonight on Amazon, that would really help us. I think it would be so cool to be #1 bestseller. That'd be pretty crazy. Oh, wait. How did that happen? Did you see that? A little pop down said, buy book on, pick up a copy of Binge. How'd they do that? Wow. Do you see that? Can you see? Is YouNow helping me? I want to click that. I'll let you order a copy of my book. That's pretty cool. That's cool. If you want to do that, I would love it. Who here has read it? No spoilers in the comments, you guys, because some people haven't read it. A lot of people are telling me they read it in a day, which is crazy because there's 300 pages. If you read it that quick, you were like, pun not intended, binge on it. Everyone's like, the name is so appropriate, all I can do is binge on it. I mean, y'all know I wrote it over the course of like a couple of years, but now it's out. I am so, I guess, happy with it. I'm happy that I'm happy with it because, like, I've met a few people who are authors who have released books that they're not necessarily happy with. Or there's things that they would change about them, you know? And I feel really happy with it out there. Like, I feel like it's a good book. And because I'm like, at the end of the day, whatever happens with the list, I know that I poured my heart into it. So, like, that's pretty cool. I feel pretty good about that. Somebody says they're meeting me at the Grove next week. I'm excited for the Grove one. I'm going to LA for a book signing, which will be a lot of fun. Oh my god. I have so many breadsticks, but no pizza sauce! Pissed me off. I asked for pizza sauce, and I know I didn't. So, if you want to send me a picture of you and your book, I want to see it right now. Tweet it to me with the hashtag to number 1. And 1 should be the number, like the actual number, not the word. Tweet it to me with that hashtag. And if you don't have a copy, that's okay. Tweet me a selfie. I want to see who else here. Just tweet me a bunch of selfies with that hashtag. Binge to number 1. Binge to TO. Binge TO number 1. VINGETONUMBER 1. Let me see. I just love bread. Okay. Pictures or selfies. Lydia is here. Anna is here. Victoria, who's Zodiac Savannah, is here. I love seeing all of you here. You guys. Yes, I'm having my 3rd piece of pizza. Oh my god. I'll go through more selfies, don't worry. Now tweet me with that hashtag. Where are you from, and what's your name? I want to know more about you. I'm going through and favoriting a bunch. Oh, Superb Oakley is here. Hi, Superb Oakley. Jade. Binge to number. Deeply Troy says this is our date. I believe it is. Zara is here. Hi, Zara. Kayla is here, or Kaylee, who's Kaylee Stoney. And then Kate is here, who's Fool for Troiler. Hi. Oh my god, I am eating like a crazy person right now. Ooh, I'm a little bit parched, Oakley. Somebody says, oh, great. I joined and Tyler's just eating. Oh, well. Not sorry. A boy needs to stay filled to the brim. What's the expression? Nutrition. Needs his nutrition. A growing boy needs his nutrition. Oh my goodness. Also, I think I want to is on Amazon and on Goodreads. You can leave me reviews of the book, which I read all of them because obviously I'm obsessed with myself. And you guys are leaving me the nicest, not just the nicest, but like thoughtful reviews, like what you really thought and like the intricacies of what you thought about the book. So I really appreciated that. Oh, somebody says they cried when they read the book. Ooh, sorry. But, all my friends are reading it right now. Texting me as they're reading it. And I'm like, sorry. They're like, oh my god, I didn't know this happened. I didn't know that happened. I had no clue about this. Which is pretty cool because it's like, if all of my best friends, and even my mom was like, I didn't know any of this. If my mom is telling me she didn't know anything about the book, I'm like, that says that my people probably won't either, which is pretty cool. Okay, so let's do a little Twitter Q&A. So if you use the hashtag binge1, which I'm going to tweet right now so you have no excuse for not knowing what the hashtag is. Live on YouNow.com/Tyler Oakley, answering your questions. Submit them with the hashtag So if you're here right now, retweet that. Shout out to that, retweet that right now. Bob Oakley is here. No Filter Tyler is here. There's Marissa. Hi, Marissa. Who else is here? XY Savon is here, I believe. Little Baby Boots is here. Jade says, excited are you to come to the UK? So excited. I love meeting new people. Kristen would like to know, what's your favorite chapter you wrote? Let me look at the chapter list. I can never remember. I need to visualize them. Favorite chapter I wrote. You want to know the first chapter I wrote? I think the first chapter I wrote was, I think, If You Beat 'Em. That was the first chapter I wrote. I'm like going through them all right now. I'm pretty sure that was the first one. No. But my favorite chapter I wrote would probably be, I really like Hopeless Romantic, and What Michelle Obama Smells Like, and Melancholy Fantasies. High school camp counselor. It's interesting to read what chapters you guys liked, because there were so many that I was like, I loved writing, and obviously I think a lot of you guys loved the one that was the one that got away. All of my friends and family are like, I love that chapter. The hashtag, I just tweeted it, if you want to know what it is. Let me know on Twitter, what was your favorite chapter, if you've already read it. Let me know with the hashtag binge1. We're using it. Favorite page of the whole book would probably be the dedication page, or the pictures with the epilogue. I really love that picture. It was so funny because I was like, I need to include this picture somewhere, but it didn't fit anywhere. It didn't go with any chapter, really. I'm not eating chips. I'm eating a breadstick. It's so good and so dry, though. What else do you want to know? Let me know. Ask me questions with that hashtag. Oh God, I can't answer that. Luke says, how was the pizza? It was really good. I finished it. Kind of small, which makes me not feel that guilty about eating all these breadsticks. Oh my God. 1D Harry Styles 09 sent me a picture of their beautiful manicure that's binge themed. I'm going to tweet at them right now, so if you want to go see what the picture of their nails is, it's really cute. Okay, I just tweeted at them. Okay. Lynn says, how did it feel to be in Indiana promoting your book when you are a Spartan? I don't feel like that much of like a loyalty to. I mean, I love Michigan State, but I think I'm not that like. It's not that important to me to have some type of rivalry. Some people at Ohio State yesterday were like, "Oh, you're from Michigan," and I was like, "Yeah, who cares? What are you? 12? Who cares? State boundaries are a man-made thing." You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? It's like borders are unmade idea. Okay, I don't mean to blow your mind. So who cares the difference in Ohio and Michigan? Okay, what other questions do you have for the hashtag? Will binge be available in Malaysia? So when it comes to other, I hear it's available in the Philippines. I hear it's in a whole bunch of stores all around the world. But when everyone's like, when will it come to insert country here? The answer is, I am not in charge of that. The reason why I have my book where it is because publishers and countries put my book there. So soon I'm going to do a little survey, if you will, to gather information of where you would want my book to be sold and what languages you want my book to be translated to. I am 99% sure that I signed a deal to have my book also published in Italian because Italy really requested it, so that's coming at some point. I can't go out into the world and be like, it's sold here, sold here. It really depends on who demands it. You know what I mean? So, what other questions do you have with the hashtag? Looking at that hashtag binge to number 1. The real question is, when will you Philly? Asks so. I would like to come back to Philadelphia soon. I haven't been there in a while. I did a tour stop there, but I obviously didn't do a book tour stop there. But I did a summer party tour stop there, which was fun. I would definitely go back. The people there were nice. I always remember what the people were like in all the towns. Some towns, people are not nice. Binge, great username, says, have you ever seen me around on Twitter? Yeah, of course. A lot of you guys I see all the time on Twitter. Just because I don't reply doesn't mean I don't see your tweets. I just can't reply to every single one always. So I try my best. But Emily, who's Fallout Oakley, says, were there any chapters that you wrote that didn't make the book? Yes. There were a lot of chapters. And I wrote plenty of extra chapters that just didn't make it in because they didn't make it in. They didn't fit with the flow of how I was organizing them or whatever. But a few chapters that I didn't think were good enough, chapters that just didn't fit. So some were good, but I didn't think they went with what I wanted to do with this book. Some just I didn't think were good stories. And I remember once I submitted a chapter to my my editor, which whenever you make a book, every single book writer, every author has an editor at their publishing company. And that editor is kind of there to help you like organize it all, make sure there's no typos, make sure there's no this, no that, whatever. Make sure that, anybody that gets mentioned is introduced the first time they're mentioned later on in the book. Editor, I submitted it, and he was like, this chapter's not good. Nobody cares about the story. I don't think it should be in the book. And that was the first time that I got, real, tough criticism. And I was like, oh my god, okay, if you insist. And I mean, there were some chapters that he was like, I don't know if this should go in, and I really stuck to my guns with that. I was like, I think it's important to keep. But when it came to like quality chapter, I really trusted his instinct. Anyway, so yes, there were plenty of chapters that didn't make the book, and I think depending on how this book does and what you guys think of it, maybe I'll write another book someday. I'm very happy with this one right now. I'm in no rush to do another. But if you want to pick it up, what you think of it, appreciate it. They were asking me, it's nice in the sense of like quality of like this is like it's hardback, the paper is glossy, the cover is glossy. The words are raised. See down here the words are raised, and then on the back it's glossy also here. It's full color throughout. Let me tell you initially what they wanted me to do. They wanted it to be paperback, not hardcover. I said no. Then they wanted it to be shitty paper, which I was like, no, it needs to be cute paper. And then they were like, do you want to include pictures? I was like, yeah, of course I want it to have pictures. And they were like, okay, well, like a little, when they sometimes put like a little section of pictures right in the middle, you know what? Like a little section, like an insert. And I was like, my book will not have an insert of pictures. And I was like, my book is gonna have, and they were black and white pictures. Everything wanted, or not that they wanted, but everything that they were suggesting. I was like, no. And so I really just demanded my way for everything. So it's hardcover, it's glossy. What is this called? Sleeve or whatever. Cover, if you will. The words are all raised, so it's got this nice texture to it. And then inside there's pictures throughout. See, there's like pictures throughout. And pictures, color, and all the words. All the glossy. I'm happy with it because like every store that I've gone to, the bookstore owner's like, "This book is heavy." I'm like, "Yeah, girl, only the best." I didn't want like a cheap product. I wanted it to be like worth. Here's the thing. I wanted it to be worth buying on multiple levels. Not just quality of content, but also quality of the book. I wanted it to be not just stories, but stories you've never heard before. I was like, I'm not putting out a book just to put out a fucking dumb book. You know what I mean? Like I had no interest putting out shit. And I think I'm happy with that. I don't think I did that. You know what I mean? Okay, back to questions. What questions do you have? Use the hashtag binge to number 1. Get it trending, y'all. Katie, who is Oakley's Coffee, says, hey, can you give me that promo? Thanks. Everyone, tweet at Oakley's Coffee and say hello. Hi, Katie. I love you. I'll reply because you used the hashtag. Bam. After we skeptical about including. Skeptical of including the 10 Commandments chapter. Because it gets a little adult. The thing about my book is, if you haven't gotten it, it's a little adult. I was like, you know what? I am not interested in making a book that is not what I would want to make. So I was like, I'm 26, I've gone to college and moved around and had jobs and had a love life of some sort. And I'm like, I want to not include them because it's like appropriate. So this book, is this appropriate? Is it not appropriate to content? I was like, I want it to be a book that in high school I would have read and felt a little bit like about. You know what I mean? Like I wanted it to be a book that you don't I don't know. I wanted it to be a book that you feel like not naughty reading, not like naughty. That's not the right word. Gasp, but like the stories of it, and I want it's mature. It's a little mature. It's like it's adult. It's adult. And when like I read some great books by these authors like David Sedaris and Josh Kilmer Purcell and Augustin Burroughs and all these great people that I love as storytellers, and they didn't hold back. Like Chelsea Handler, my favorite thing about Chelsea Handler is in her books, she skewers everyone. Everyone is subject to being judged by her and like called out and like made fun of by her. But the number one person she will always make fun of most is herself. And I feel like that's exactly what I wanted to do with my book. I was like, I come out of it looking like a fucking idiot. You know? Like, I don't want it to, like, I don't want to not share stuff that's just because it would make me look bad or dumb or mean or stupid or whatever. Like, I want, like, it's important to share the truth. And, like, even if the truth makes me look like an idiot, you know. So, yeah, with Chelsea Handler, I learned that. With Josh Kilmer Purcell, he has a great book called I Am Not Myself These Days. And that chapter really, that book really inspired the chapter, The One That Got Away, because it's like a story. And I really wanted to share my own, and that's why I wrote that book, or that chapter, is because I loved that book. And I was like, I really want to share my story in a way that I felt was like inspired by that, and like just a story where I had a long conversation, and let me tell you. Here, hold on. Let me tweet again. Let me tweet again. Giving y'all sides about binge right now on now.com/Oakley. Binge to number 1 is the hashtag. Okay. So let's talk about The One That Got Away. So that chapter I've been giving snippets of on Wattpad. And the reason why I did snippets on Wattpad was because I felt like you guys all use Wattpad. A lot of you do. I mean, I was looking at statistics and I had a meeting with them, and I was like, because I was looking for a place to share content ahead of the book coming out. And I was like, I want there to be a place where people can get previews of the book for free, because it was important for me to that's like free for you guys. Because I was like, I wasn't able to be able to read it. And the chapter that I wanted to share on it was called One That Got Away. It was storyteller-esque. A lot of the chapters in the book are not very storytellery, but that one was very like it had a narrative plot to it, which goes very well with Wattpad. Anyway, so I did the one that got away. I did 4 snippets on Wattpad. But that chapter, it was important for me to share it for a couple of reasons. One, because relationships feel like the end-all, be-all. And I think from that chapter was that love is great, but not all relationships are love. Or not all relationships are worth sticking around for, or even if a relationship goes terribly, there's still stuff to learn from it, and all these things, blah, blah, blah. I feel like I learned a lot from chapter in that relationship. And I had a long conversation with the guy that chapter is about, but while I was writing the book. Listen, homeboy. I'm going to be telling the truth in the chapter. You are going to look like shit sometimes. I am going to look like an idiot sometimes. I think both of us will come out of it okay. But it's more important to tell the truth than for either of us to not be honest about how it works. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather be truthful about the relationship. And here's blah. And when I finished the chapter, I remember exactly what, an airport, I think in Chicago. And I sent him the chapter, and I was like, no, you don't have any input about what changes, but I'm just going to send it to you now so you can know about it before it comes out. And he called me like 30 minutes later, and he's crying, and he's like, thank you, it's great, blah, blah, blah. And we had a long conversation about it. So yeah, that was cool. Like, I feel like it was therapeutic for both of us to get that out. So there's that. What else? Y'all want to know? Ask me with the hashtag binge to number 1. Did I cry while writing any of the chapters? Yes. I did. A couple of them. A couple of them were kind of hard to write, honestly. The more serious ones were difficult. But I love that I wrote this over such a long time. I can look at chapters. Remember where I was when I wrote it. Like, let's see, what's a good story? The Beyonce one. I wrote it on, I gave you guys the tour of my bedroom. And I have that green carpet, that's like furry green carpet. I was laying stomach down on that carpet, typing away, thinking about being Beyonce. And I was like, oh my god, that could be like a cute little chapter. So after this real serious chapter, I wanted to put like a fun, funny chapter after like a super serious one. In that one, it's called 20 Things I'd Do If I Were Beyonce for the Day. So that goes right after. What does that come after? Yeah, that comes after the most serious chapter of the book. The serious chapter is called A Love Lesson. And then the next one is 20 Things I Thought I Would Do If I Were Beyonce for the Day. And I really wanted it to feel like a flow of different types of stories. You know what I mean? Like, not all serious, not all funny, not all or that or whatever. I wanted it emotions. So I wanted you to be like, sir, 1 second, and then the very next sentence I want it to crack you up. And I feel like I'm pretty happy with how it turned out in that sense. The flow of it all. Trying to figure out how the chapters should be structured and which chapter should go after which was so hard. Oh my god. Somebody says, if I'm in high school, is it appropriate for me to read the book? Yes. Yes, I think so. I mean, it's a little edgy, but it's things that high schoolers face. See this? It says, get binge that. Get it. That'll take you to Amazon. That link, it'll go to a page that's 44% off. Off the book. The reason you should get the book today, if you haven't gotten it, is because tomorrow is the last day for us to have sales that go toward the New York Times bestseller list. And if you buy the book tonight, that would go toward us maybe, possibly, being number 1 in the world, in the country, in books. How cool would it be if we had the number 1 book? That would be pretty cool. I'm so happy Dan and Phil had the number 1 book last week, which is so cool. We're in different lists, so we're not up against each other. They're young adult, I'm nonfiction. 2 different lists. It's not based on like it's like what our publishers sent us for. So we had no. Thank God we weren't up against each other. I would not want to be up against another YouTuber. I would just feel like weird trying to campaign against them, So yeah, Zoe's in a completely different category. I'm in a different category. Dan and Phil are in a different category. PewDiePie's in a different category. I'm up against Bill O'Reilly, who is this conservative, problematic, old white guy. So if you want me to beat him, feel free to get the book today. What other questions do you have? Tweet me with the hashtag binge to number. What do you think? I'm scrolling through. Wizard Oakley says, I'm obviously trying to get binge to number 1 because I don't want anyone else to buy these other books. And she has pictures of her putting the books over the other people's books. Don't try not to piss off bookstores. So I feel like if we like bombard the bookstores with spreading out my book everywhere, I feel like bookstores might not like that. You can definitely maybe put it in 2 spots, but not all over everyone else's books. I appreciate the thought, but I just don't want to piss off any bookstores. I don't want them to be mad at us. If you use the hashtag binge to number 1 on Twitter, I'm looking at those questions and I'm answering those questions on Twitter. Living Oakley says, what important chapters in binge to me? To me, the most important chapters, binge, the title chapter, was really important for me. A love lesson was really important for me. Melancholy Fantasies was really important to me. Because it was something that I've never really talked about before. And God, Unhappiest Birthday was so hard to write. It's the story of the worst birthday of my life. It was not a happy. I mean, it's funny sometimes, like a hard chapter to write. You know, the book, it's tons of funny, fun chapters. Don't get me wrong. But it does talk about a lot of serious topics. Like, I don't want to tell you. I feel like I'll spoil stuff. But it talks about serious chapters, or serious subjects. And I think those serious subjects are important for people to be having conversations about, whether they're adults or college students or high school students or middle schoolers. These are things that everybody, no matter how old you are, faces and deals with. So it was important for me to talk about them. The funny stories, like, oh my God, the last chapter I wrote was, what's it called? Which it's I think pages long, and it was so funny. It was so fun. Right, I wrote it in my mom's kitchen. It was after the whole book was done, and I was going through pictures, trying to find pictures at home in Michigan. And I was going through all my mom's old photo albums and going through all my mom's whatevers, trying to find all of these old pictures from my childhood or my family or whatever. And in the book, you'll see tons of really dumb, gross, embarrassing pictures of me all throughout the book. But I found this one picture of me with braces from 7th grade. It brought back this hilarious story, which I thought was I was like, how do I write this story down? And that's how I feel, especially now that the book is done. There are so many other stories, which makes me feel okay, maybe I'll write another book. But Brace Yourself was a story that is pretty short and sweet, but I was like, oh my God, it was so funny to write. And I wrote it in my mom's kitchen, at her kitchen table, in maybe 30 minutes. And I submitted it to my editor. I was like, hi, I know the book's supposed to be done, but I just wanted to write this quick little chapter because I found this really great picture. It's like this picture in the book. It's the worst of me ever. It's the worst picture of me. And so I needed it included in the book. And luckily, it had a chapter that really went with it. So yeah, that's in the book. Yeah. What other questions do you have? Use the hashtag binge to number 1 on Twitter. X Oakley says, what made you confident to publish some of the more personal? I knew I never wanted to write. I knew I never wanted to make videos or talk about in podcasts some of the more serious things. But when it came to sharing them in the book, I was like, you know what? I can write and write and write, and none of it has to be in the book. I can write and write and write, and I could just keep that in my diary. It doesn't have to make it into the book. So when I wrote, and I wrote about a serious topic, I knew, okay, if I put it all out there, it can still remain just for me, or best case scenario, I think it's good enough to be in the book. And so when I wrote a chapter about depression, or if I wrote a chapter about anxiety, or if I wrote a chapter about body image issues, and I felt like it was therapeutic for me to just get it out, if at the end of that process I still liked the chapter enough, even if it were just motivated by like having a cathartic moment to write those chapters, if I still thought it was good after the fact, then I was like, I feel confident now that I tried, and I'm happy with the product, that I can put it finally in the book, if that makes sense. If that makes sense. What other questions you got? Tina, hi Tina, is here. Tina wants to know, do you miss writing in airplanes? Yes and no. Because when I was on airplanes, sometimes it would feel like I was like, fuck, I have to like... Usually if I'm writing on an airplane, it's because I was so busy with everything that was going on that I had zero time to do it any other time. And so when I was on an airplane, it was like my one chance to get away from the internet for a second, because I usually wrote on a plane and didn't buy the Wi-Fi, you know what I mean? And so it kind of felt like a hectic minute to like get as much as I could out of that flight. I really miss going on a writing trip. I went to, hold it, I'm plugging in my computer. I went to, sorry, one sec. I went to Malibu for the only real writing trip I went on. I did it to Perth once. I did a writing trip in Malibu, and it was just a weekend, but like it felt so good to remove myself and just try to focus on not anything on the internet. I had zero internet for the weekend, and just try to get it out there. And that's when I wrote a love lesson. And yeah, it was like a productive weekend. Mm-hmm. Where are you going to put in the book? Asked Gallant Gary. Yes. A lot of the stuff in the book is a little embarrassing. But that's the point. Why would you ever put out a book where you're not, like, sharing everything? You know? I don't know. Like, that is the point. I don't know. Anyway. Let's see. What other things do we got? P.S. If you're thinking about getting the book tonight, please do. Like, we're up somebody else for the #1 book in the country. So, if you physical copy, order it on Amazon or BarnesandNoble.com or wherever, you are helping us possibly beat that other person. If you already got a copy, feel free to buy another for a friend. If they can't afford it, that would be great. Or maybe buy one as an early Christmas or Hanukkah present. I think it would be a great stuff. Somebody loved What Michelle Obama Smells Like. So there's a chapter called What Michelle Obama Smells Like. And there are some chapters that were so fun to do the audio before. That was one of them. What else was fun to do? Story of My Life, the one about lisps That was such a fun chapter to write because it felt. I really liked that one. What were your favorite chapters? Let me know on Twitter with the hashtag binge to number 1. I'm looking at the hashtag. Oh my god. Somebody says high school camp counselor. Ooh. That one I was most nervous because I was like, my teachers are gonna read this, and people at my high school are gonna read this, and my principal and my choir teacher, and I was like, oh my god, things you don't want your teachers to know that you did in high school. That was nerve-wracking. Very nerve-wracking. Let me see. What other chapters did you guys like? I'm looking at your tweets with the hashtag. Emily says, "Brace yourself" was fun. Binge Oakley. Says, "When I talk or think about lisps, mine gets so much worse. Does it happen to you?" I don't think so. Bethany says, "I would have a favorite chapter, but I haven't gotten the book yet." Well, tonight's the night. Tonight's a perfect night to get the book. Amazon.com. There's a link that'll be. It's a link to the Amazon page. And the book right now on Amazon is 44% off. It's the cheapest you will find it. Period. Cheaper than any bookstore. And you can have it delivered tomorrow. Why wouldn't you want that? If you order it tonight, it could be on your doorstep tomorrow. Abby says, "Are you going to do an audiobook for Binge?" I did. Use audible.com/Tyler Oakley to get your first book free. It could be my book. What else? The poop chapter. So there's a chapter. Ben J. Pierce was dragging me about the poop chapter. In the Disney chapter. He was texting me about that. Which was laughing. Danny says, "Who is Oakley Angel?" Allie says, "The gay chapter was so inspiring." Thank you. Yeah, there are some people in my life who are in the book in some capacity who I don't know if they're happy with their involvement in the book because some people are not talking to me now. But I've always said, all I can do is put out the truth. And if you're upset with that, you know what I mean? This breadstick is good. Wait, hold on. I just read a really funny message. Sorry. Get this away from me. I don't need any more breadsticks. Okay. Okay, you guys. Let's do a few more questions, and then I should probably get going. Because I have an early thing in the morning. Got 2 book signings tomorrow in Michigan. If you have a question, tweet it to me with hashtag binge to number 1. Chandel says, "Do you get emotional reading chapters for the audio version?" Yeah. I mean, a lot of it, I'm just giggling the whole time. But there are some, emotional moments. When I was talking about... A Love Lesson was hard to do the audio version of. Binge was hard to do the audio version of. Melancholy Fantasies, even though it is kind of like a more melancholy chapter, it was fun to do because I think it's funny. I mean, like, I wanted to tackle the more serious topics with jokes because that's who I am. Like, and even though like I was laughing while writing them and recording them, they still are like more serious adulty things. I don't know, you know what I mean? Anyway, okay, a couple more questions. I gotta get going. Bree says, will you come back to Indiana? I couldn't meet you today. Yes, I would love to, for sure. P.S. If there are any tour stops that I came to that you couldn't make it to, but you're in the area, go to that bookstore after I'm there. And you might find I'm going around to like as many bookstores as I can and signing as many copies as I can. And sometimes I'll tweet like, oh, just signed 100 copies at this location, Barnes & Noble, or just signed blah, blah, blah. But if I go in and I sign like 3 or 4 copies, just what's out, I won't say. I'll just like, you should just be on the lookout if you want a signed copy. There probably aren't that many signed copies left, to be honest, because the book's been out for almost a week now, and I think each Target had only a few signed copies at each location. It's worth checking, but P.S. Tomorrow, what we're doing, I forgot to tell you. Tomorrow we are doing a hashtag, and it's the search for binge, and we're all gonna live tweet our own little adventures of going out in stores and trying to find binge in your local bookstore. And I suggested, and everyone was like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, okay, so use the hashtag, the search for binge, and the search for binge. If you live tweet your adventure with your friends of trying to find the book, and then like send me pictures throughout the day of you trying to find the book, or you getting the book, or buying the book, or if you wanted to vlog it, that would be so cool. I would live to watch your vlogs. And if any of you vlogs your day of trying to find the book tomorrow, I will 100% watch that. Just send it to me. That would be really cool. I would love that. Of you and your like posse going to find the book. That's fun. That's so fun to me. I should get going. I should go to bed. I have to be up in 6 hours. I have to be downstairs in the lobby in 6 hours. Woof. I should probably sleep. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. Somebody says you look really bored. Haha. I'm not bored. I'm just tired. I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate you. I adore you. If you haven't gotten the book, please get it or tomorrow. Those copies sold today and tomorrow go toward us possibly being number 1 in the country, which would be incredible. I'm so happy that you guys are liking the book. It means the world to me. I think it's fucking great, which I'm happy to feel that way. You know what I mean? I'm happy that I love it. Thank you for getting the book. Thank you for recommending it to your friends. That's one of the most important things you could possibly do, is recommending it, whether it's in a review on Goodreads or Amazon, or person to person. If you think your friend would love this book, if you think, oh my god, such and such would relate to this, or think this is funny, or whatever, suggest it to them, or get it for them. That would be great. I would love that. If you do, let me know. That would be really cool. I would appreciate it. Because so many of you guys already have your copy, but if you get one person to also get a copy, that could be the matter of number 1 and number 2 in the country, which we will find out next week what we did. It's okay either way, but how cool would it be to be number 1 and to beat Bill O'Reilly, who's couldn't be more opposite of me? It would be pretty cool. Would be pretty cool. Okay, I gotta go. I love you guys. Hope you have a good night. Enjoy the book. Get the book tomorrow. Thank you. Goodbye, my friends. I love you. I miss you. See you soon. Bye.